What is up, everybody? Welcome once again to an all-new Smackdown after show. Mania is in the books. We had a week off, and we need to break stuff down because we've been missing all of you. We've been just hanging out, living life as best we can. We hope you're doing the same. Those celebrating Easter. Hope you've had a safe but celebrate to an extent holiday weekend. I'm Josh Tariff. Whole crew is with us this week. First off, he is the Alexa Bliss to my Nikki Cross. He is Bryant Santos. How are you, sir?
I am doing great. So happy to be back with you guys. Missed you that one weekend. Ready to talk about Alexa Bliss.
And she is the Renee Young to my page. It's Gabby Loren.
Hi, guys. Happy Easter and happy Passover. Hope you're enjoying it.
And finally, he is the Tucker to my Otis. It's Tom Connolly.
I was like, what's he going to say for me?
That was the best one.
Yes.
I was actually thinking of just saying, and it's Tom. So, guys, we had a week off because WrestleMania was just too big for one night. We went 2 nights. We're going to get into the Smackdown after Mania in just a second. We know that someone's phone is ringing. Mine somehow was ringing while this is going on. So, you know what? Live recording. Who cares? We're going to keep rolling. I thought that was on Do Not Disturb, whatever. Anywho.
Putting mine on Do Not Disturb now as well.
Yeah. Anywho, I will talk with my sister later. Let's talk about WrestleMania.
We don't have Josh here to tell us, like, hey, make sure your phone and everything's on, you know?
Oh, hold on. I need to prove right now then. I'm proving to you. It said, like, the Do Not Disturb thing is pushed. I don't know how it went through. But I digress. WrestleMania. Let's get into that. 1 or 2 things that really stuck out to you, because we know if you want the full breakdown, AfterBuzz TV has the WrestleMania recap. Make sure you check that out if you've not done so yet. But, Gabby, give me 1 or 2 things from Mania that just really stuck out to you.
Oh, my God. I was in the process of recapping my own WrestleMania YouTube thing, and wow, there are so many moments, but the biggest ones that stood out to me was the Kevin Owens Seth Rollins match. The Randy Orton Edge match was phenomenal. They utilized so many parts of the Performance Center that we'd never normally get to see. And obviously the Boneyard match was awesome, but I'll let you guys take it from there because there's too many to go over.
I mean, from now on, WrestleMania needs to be 2 nights. I don't think there's a doubt. There shouldn't be a doubt in their mind that it shouldn't be, because it was the first night I think was way better. The second night they needed to step it up a little bit. I think that's where you got to even it out a little bit, figure out what really works. But ending the first night on the Boneyard match was awesome. Undertaker should never wrestle in the ring again. I'm fine with him doing this kind of match. And I'm excited to see where they go with that now. And the music, everything was just really good with that. Yeah.
Right.
Shout out to the women. That's what I have to say. It was such a great 2 nights for the women. Not only did they open both of the shows, Alexa Bliss, of course, I can't remiss to not mention that she is the Women's Tag Team Champion. She opened the show. Amazing match. That was great. I also love Charlotte and Rhea. Happy that Charlotte is the champion. I called it on Women's Wrestling Weekly. And yeah, I just loved it. Shout out to the women.
I mean, I'm kind of like what Tom was saying. The Boneyard match, the Firefly Funhouse are both so fascinating in completely different ways. The Boneyard match to me was like the final fight scene of a movie.
Yeah. And
the Funhouse was like a short film that you would see win awards at Cannes or something like that. Because it was like an Inception type of wrestling film.
Mm-hmm.
But then on top of all that, the ladder match to me blew my mind. That was one of the best finishes to a ladder match I've ever seen, with Morrison falling with the titles. I thought, especially given the circumstance that, you know, like for Jimmy Uso, here's your shot because you're by yourself for your first time pretty much ever, and you're performing technically on WrestleMania. And he knocked it out of all 3 of them knocked it out of the park. Gabby, like you said, the Owens and Rollins, I thought was absolutely fantastic. Given the circumstances, overall, I think all the performers did a fantastic job. And now the question is, what happens from there? Which is always the question in wrestling. So we had a Raw after Mania, and that then brings us to the SmackDown after Mania, where we kick off with your brand new Universal Champion, Braun Strowman. And I would, at this point, insert the Christian's Closet music, because Strowman's got a very unique new T-shirt now that he's champion. The Strowman Express. It's a takeoff of the freaking Polar Express graphic.
I thought it was a takeoff of the Lex Express.
I wish. I wish it was a Lex Express. And then the front of the train has Strowman's face logo on it. It's definitely a child design shirt, which is fine because obviously they're the ones who buy the most merch, so you want them to buy something. And if Braun's your champion now, you want them to have something that the champion wears. So unique. Would I buy it? No. Do I understand it? Yeah. So and Braun says he took everything that Goldberg had to dish out. Spear after spear after spear, because that's literally all Goldberg has.
That's all he dishes out. So
yeah, he gets interrupted by Nakamura, who oddly enough comes out by himself and is talking on the microphone, which he hasn't really done in months. Does a knock joke that he's here to knock the door down, and it's like, last time we faced you, Braun, we beat you, and challenges Braun. Braun says, let's go. Cesaro shows up, who literally gets pushed over the top rope, and then a kick by Nakamura to lead up to their match later on in the evening. What do we think about this promo, Gabby?
I love how Nakamura was in a promo, first of all, and how I remember seeing him from when we first started to hear him talk to now, and he sounds great. He's doing so much better. And it's just really fun to add him into the mix, to have him be a speaker. And it really got me excited to see him have a match, because for a while there, before the situation with Sami Zayn, we weren't seeing a lot of Nakamura. We kept asking for more Nakamura, so I feel like now we're getting it.
Bryant?
You notice how none of us at WrestleMania said we loved the Braun Strowman match, because obviously it did not pop off for any reason.
It was 2 minutes. It was literally a 2-minute match. But that's what you expected in the Goldberg match.
Exactly. Of course, certain circumstances happened and didn't happen. I'm not too thrilled that Strowman is the champion. Of course, it's kind of just, I'm thinking it's just like a filler. Someone's going to change. We definitely saw that set up with Bray, which we'll talk about later. But I think it was definitely, like Gabby said, a good exchange between the two of them, whatever Nakamura's better promos, even one of Braun's better promos as well, because they kind of worked off each other really well. Like how Cesaro just popped in, he got pushed over the top rope, and we moved on from there. So it was cool.
Tom?
Was anybody else concerned for Cesaro? Because I was.
I too.
Grab the ropes to grab himself. I was like, okay, that's a little. Why are you gonna throw him that hard? But yeah, I thought the promo was good. It's nice to see Nakamura stepping out of Sami Zayn's shadow without Sami there. I like the combo of Cesaro and Nakamura really good. I agree with you, Bryant. The Strowman match was what it was. I think it was good that he won the way he won. He was very dominant even after taking all the spears. So it was cool to see that. But I think I am maybe with the rest of the wrestling community I'm really overseeing 2-minute matches.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do anything for anybody. It doesn't help. I think even the Lesnar match was the same kind of way. I don't need a champion that has to be beat in 3 seconds. It's dumb. It doesn't help anybody. I'd rather
the only move is their finisher over and over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's like I'm watching a video game. If I want to play a video game, that's what I'm going to do. Try to get, but you can't. Even in a video game, you can't even do that. You have to build up to a finisher, a finishing.
Put in a code, man. Put in a cheat code.
Yeah. Yeah.
One R1, up down.
But I think Strowman works better with the crowd though. So it's kind of really the no crowd is, for me watching it, really, really hurting my experience watching it.
Hmm.
Every single show. It just really just kind of makes me go, okay, well, it's happening.
Well, there are some people. I agree. There are some people that we definitely see are hurting a little bit because of the lack of crowd. There are some people that I feel that are even rising even more though, and that kind of leads me into the first match, which was women's tag team championship rematch from Mania. Alexa Cross, Nikki Cross, and Alexa Bliss versus the Kabuki Warriors. And I'm referencing Asuka with all this. Asuka, I think, since we've had no crowds, has been the hardest working wrestler on the roster. She has been on every show, wrestling singles matches, tag matches, hopping on commentary, doing whatever the hell she wants, it seems like. And she's been knocking it out of the park every single time. And she did again in this match. Brian, I'll start with you because I know you want to talk about this match more than anything.
I love this match too. I wasn't really thrilled just when they announced it because I'm tired of rematches. You know, they keep hitting us over the head with we're not doing any more rematches. We're not doing this contracted rematch clause, but they threw in this rematch. I don't know for what reason. I guess because people did like not just because I'm biased, people did like the first match that they had. It actually was a really great match at Mania. So I think they were just trying to reconnect that or rekindle that. But it was a good match. Of course, I love that Alexa Bliss retained, and I 100% agree with you that Asuka has really been shining out too. Even Kairi, they've all just kind of worked really well together. I think the four of them have really great chemistry, so it was great.
And you bring up a great point there, actually, because I wanted to make sure I mentioned this, and you now just reminded me of it. I'm never a fan of, and it happens every pay-per-view. The pay-per-view happens, and in that same week, there's a rematch from that pay-per-view. Because the wrestlers are in a no-win situation. If they put on a match that was better than the pay-per-view, we're all going to be like, why didn't they do that on the pay-per-view? And if it's worse, I'm like, well, the pay-per-view one was better. So it's just like either way, it's just like there's no point in having another match that soon when that other pay-per-view match is so fresh in your mind. So I don't understand why they always do that. You want to, like, if the Kabuki Warriors came out, challenge them to a rematch in like a week or two or whatever. Okay, fine. Because at that point, that match would be out of our minds. Because wrestling fans have short-term memories. We all know this. Gabby, what'd you think of that?
I think they did this match out of convenience because when they were taping WrestleMania and probably taping SmackDown close by, they decided to just utilize them again since they were all there and in good health. As opposed to it necessarily being an interesting match to have as a rematch. However, like you said, Josh, I do agree with the fact that Asuka's been doing a really great job and has really been putting in the work. She's also really fun to watch and listen to when she's not very happy. So I think that, her like standing on the commentator booth and actually grabbing the headset, and then there being some drama over there, taking it outside of the ring, that really brought it up to the next level for me. I thought it was really fun and entertaining. And did you guys feel like this match was better than the pay-per-view that we just saw?
No,
Yeah.
I thought the pay-per-view was better.
I thought this was better. I thought they stepped it up big time. I thought all of them did. With Alexa doing like the twisted bliss off the top rope onto the outside. And then, I know we're talking about Asuka a lot, but I think Nikki Cross has really stepped it up as well.
Sure, yes. Yeah.
Being way more of a personality. Like, she was already kind of like that quirky personality, but more just being more, more forefront than being Alexa's sidekick, I think. Like, just being on the commentary.
I think that's a really good point.
And I think they don't have a name for her finisher, but I don't know why they just don't call it the crossbreaker, something like that.
They called it twisted neckbreaker tonight.
It was called the Purge.
Oh,
when she was Sanity.
Gotcha.
So I don't think they're still going with that anymore.
Okay.
Crossbreaker.
Okay.
All right.
But I thought the match was better. I did not.
And I'm just going to ask a quick yes or no question to the three of you. Now that the Kabuki Warriors lost their rematch, can we see Asuka and Kairi feud with each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Gabby says no. Okay.
No, I think they're good together. I don't think that they should feud.
All right. I want to see that.
Because who doesn't like drama?
Right?
It sells.
Elias, he sings a song. He's not interrupted. They input claps to the song, which would, like, if anything that WWE is inserting crowd sound from, this is the only thing that they do. And in the song, Elias says that he'll be in Money in the Bank.
I can't believe you finished the song. I was shocked.
He got through the entire song without an interruption. It was amazing. I think he got about halfway through and just like, I got to make up more lyrics.
Do we think like King Corbin's done? Like the King character with Corbin?
I don't know.
Me either.
I mean, I could almost see him popping up in either Raw or NXT.
Really? Interesting.
Like, just because I don't know where right now, if you ask me right now, where does Corbin go next on SmackDown? I have no idea.
Same.
I mean, he's feuded with the top guys and lost. He's now feuded with mid-card and lost. Where does he go?
Unless they pull kind of a double switch, and which I don't want them to, but switch him and Sammy, maybe. Like the IC title. But I wouldn't like that. That's the only thing I can think.
It would make no sense to have to deal with Sammy.
Yeah. No, I mean if they switched them, like Sammy became a face again.
But, no, I love Sammy as a heel. He's so good at the heel right now.
Heel Sammy, please. Ziggler versus Tucker. Ziggler's got Sonya Deville in his corner because now that's a pairing, apparently.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at one bit.
Me too. It's weird.
It made no sense.
It's so weird.
Wait, what is weird? Can you guys repeat that?
Ziggler and Sonya working together.
Yeah, there's obviously ulterior motives because they have no love connection or interest.
We all know she's a lesbian.
Yeah, well, in real life, we all know that, but like at the same time, she's also not showing any interest in Dolph. So,
because she's not at all interested in him.
But the thing that made no sense, at least with the Mania match as well, was that she just like came out with Ziggler, and now it's like, oh, now they're like not together, but like they're a team.
They're buddies. Yeah.
That's because they both have a common goal in mind, which we saw in the match, is that they're looking out for Mandy Rose, which is being a bad friend, to be honest, because that's not what Mandy wants.
But I think would have been at least in the Otis match at Mania. I think it would have been better if Sonya came out and tried to help Dolph win that way, then brought Mandy out, not just Sonya being out there the whole time and then Mandy showing up.
Yes.
Yeah. And Tucker trying to get back at Ziggler, showing the Instagram photos of Otis and Mandy romantically lifting a weight
and bananas.
Eating bananas.
First off, I just gotta say, it's the time is 2020 when the year at least of like things in WWE, and it's PG, because if this was about 15 years ago, those pictures would have been way different.
Yeah.
Maybe they're also concerned because all the families are stuck at home now. And kids watch regardless, but there might be more children watching right now.
Yeah. What I think about that, I would think it would have made more sense, or like kind of shown like a one-up, if Mandy and Otis would have came out together. Like, as opposed to like doing what Dolph did and showing the pictures, be like, hey, I'll do you one better, and then came out and they like kissed or something on screen.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tucker was like their lackey.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look at what these guys are doing.
Exactly, yeah.
But like, why didn't they, I get the idea of them like working out, but why didn't they're in Florida. Why not take them to the beach where like they could be working out on the beach together or something?
I know, it was just a parking lot.
The beaches are closed, Tom.
All right,
they're not open.
Well, they clearly don't care.
Well, WWE is trying to be incognito, so by them being incognito, it's shooting at the Performance Center and graveyards at night.
Then they could have taken them to a hotel and at least had them like
hotel.
not like lounging,
Go on.
like showing that they're on vacation together or together, not just working out outside the performance center.
Yeah. Next up, we see Mandy and Otis at Disney World at a Disney resort that's closed to the public but open to them.
Hey,
Hotels
they can do like a little like Instagram loop of Otis carrying Mandy like he has, do that little friendly nod as they walk into a hotel room and the door closes.
Yeah.
And you just do that on loop over and over, and you can interpret it however you like.
Exactly. That was under Ziggler's skin. He would be pissed about that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the match itself, Tucker dominates 99% of this match, then gets super kicked and pinned. I'm like, what? I'm like, first off, why is Ziggler getting his ass kicked by the lesser half of a tag team? And then why did it literally only take one move for Tucker to be knocked out?
Yeah, I think they just had to give the win to them, to be honest, because Otis already won. So you know how WWE works usually the next week, except for the Alexa Bliss match. It's usually the other side winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50-50 booking kills a lot of angles. Because now it's like, well, you beat my. Now are we? I think we're leading to a mixed tag match. Obviously.
Yes. Money in the Bank.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah.
Where that might eventually lead to Tucker turning on Otis now at this point. And where's Robert Roode and everything?
In Canada. Stuck there.
The borders are closed.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't think of that. Dirt sheet. This was fun. Morrison says, my glass is always half full. Even when it is full, it's always half full. And they decided to talk about different good news. How Morrison was the first guy to successfully defend the tag titles by himself in a ladder match. And Miz was the first guy to successfully defend the tag titles on his couch. And, which Xavier Woods would dispute. But they eventually get interrupted by the Usos, who to me sound like they're making excuses. Because it's just like, hey, yeah, you might have won, but it's a tag team match. We didn't have a tag team match. It was like, so what you're saying, Jimmy, is you're not as good as John Morrison. Is that what you're saying? They get interrupted by New Day, and we get announced that next week there'll be another triple threat singles match for the tag team titles with the other three, Miz, Jay, and Big E. Why are we having all these singles matches for the tag titles? We know the first reason.
That was dumb for me. I did not like how they just redid. I was just like, okay, you guys didn't get a chance to be on Mania. Let's just put you in for another match. Like, it was so like halfway there. I didn't like it. And I also didn't really like the segment too. I know you guys love Miz and Morrison being there, hilarious. And it was definitely funny. But sometimes I'm just cringing like really hard. Like when they started rapping, I was like, oh my God, please.
That's the point. It's supposed to cringe.
I was cringing.
Then I don't know how true it is that the single has gone gold on iTunes or not.
I
wouldn't doubt it. Gold means 500,000 downloads.
No way. Not in these times.
As far as download or stream, you don't think between them it's been listened to 500,000 times?
No, not. I mean, like they mean like download, like buy or listen. Listen, maybe, yeah. But
well, I don't know how they count it anymore, as far as if it's buy or if it's stream or how they calculate it. But
and if it's buy, then they better be getting some of that money because that's a lot of money.
I mean that's $500,000.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
I thought it was interesting.
That beautiful house.
Yeah. I thought it was fun at first. I mean, I think them just kind of goofing around works sometimes. I don't understand how Miz is like, I'm not medically cleared, but he's cleared next week. And they're all cleared next week, but yet we still got to sit through another triple threat match.
And it's a regular triple threat match. It's just going to be like, definitely not as good as the ladder match, of course.
Yeah.
And somehow after the triple threat match, we'll then have the triple threat tag match.
Yeah, which is just real dumb. It makes no sense.
Maybe they're setting up a triple threat tag ladder at Money in the Bank.
No, we don't need it.
We don't need it. We don't know, but that's what they're doing.
They should add in some sort of like extra element to the Money in the Bank match if they're going to continue with this, because we can't keep watching the same thing over and over and over again. However, I do think that these guys are some of the best wrestlers, especially for the tag team divisions. Like, they're really, really good. So I don't actually mind watching them again as long as they reinvent themselves.
Or maybe, as Gabby, you're saying, trying to, if we're continuing to add some other element, what if we add another team, such as a team that just debuted right after this in the Forgotten Sons, as they take on Lucha House Party, Steve Cutler, Wesley Blake, Jackson Riker. They finally make their main roster debut. Within a month, we won't have their first names to remember anymore because they'll get rid of them. This was just a basic match, just trying to put over the Forgotten Sons. They win. Other than Miz and Morrison, this is really now the only other heel team on SmackDown. So I can definitely see them pushing them. Maybe all of a sudden we get a 4-way with this tag title.
Yeah. What do you think it was like for them getting the news? Like, hey, you're getting bumped up to the main roster, but we're currently in coronavirus, so these are all going to be pre-tapes. With no.
Wesley Blake must have been over the moon because he's been on NXT since 1994.
Seriously.
Because he
So it doesn't matter what's going on.
No.
He's like, somebody put me on TV.
And the thing is, and there have been guys in NXT that weren't maybe getting much of a response and then got moved up, which surprised me. But then when they got moved up, the way they were booked, it worked out for them.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been a fan of the Forgotten Sons at all on NXT.
Okay,
I didn't even know they existed.
I'm going to be one here, okay? I'm going to say the Forgotten Sons are going to be forgotten about real.
Yikes.
I only was happy to see Blake because, of course, Alexa Bliss fan. I loved Blake, Alexa, and Murphy. But besides that, I didn't know who the other two were. I didn't even know they were a team. I didn't know they were employed by this company. So
I agree with you, Josh. Like, they have really not done anything in NXT. No memorable feud.
And they're not getting crowd reactions.
And nothing. And it's nothing against the guys. Like, they're busting their ass. They're not.
Yeah.
But I just think, and it's not even like a bad like gimmick for them. Like, it's interesting. But if you were the Forgotten Sons, I think debuting in a regular match makes no sense. The match should have been a tag match happening, and they should have just ambushed everyone and destroyed everyone, and then introduced themselves, because I don't know which one's which.
Yeah, and all three of them weren't even in the match. It was only two of them.
Blake is. The other two couldn't tell you which one's which.
It's eventually going to lead, whenever Xavier Woods comes back, they'll have a feud with the 6 of them, and that might be it for the Forgotten Sons after that. And I feel bad because, like, Jackson Riker, the guy who wasn't in the match, he's the singles wrestler of the 3. A lot of people still remember him as Gunner from TNA. He has the, like, perfect look of, like, you are a badass heel wrestler. But it's nothing going past the look. And it's so disappointing. You put him with some type of voice box, you can do something with him by himself. But this team, and again, some NXT people didn't have much and then showed up on the main roster and worked great for them. Hell, Braun did nothing in NXT and then showed up. Elias was floundering in NXT and then he showed up.
Alexa Bliss and Carmella.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss and Carmella, another good example. So it's certainly possible that this might work out, and in a few months we might be eating our words. But I would not be surprised if in 3 or 4 months we put that Paul Heyman "told you so" loop over this soundbite that we're doing right now on the fact that Forgotten Sons, like you said, Tom, will be forgotten.
I just think that they have the look. I just think we've seen this happen before, and that's where I get like it almost kind of makes me sad of, like, these guys work so hard, and then it's like you finally get somewhere, and then it's like, oh, but you're just whatever. I think Lucha House Party looked better in the match than them too.
Definitely.
Oh, sure.
Way more impressive to watch.
Yeah.
Like, way more impressive. Like, I'd rather see them in this fatal, and if it's going to be a fatal 4-way, add them to that mix.
To be honest, Lucha House Party's in a similar position. Like, do
Yeah.
they get a lot of notoriety? No, but these are like the best wrestlers too. Like, they're luchadores to me. Like, these, I mean, I love Mexican wrestlers. Like, I love luchadores. I think that they're fun. I like the moves that they do. I like that they're high flyers. I think we need to see more of that. Like, that's classic wrestling. So I don't understand, like, why WWE doesn't like buy into that as much. They like these like big macho like Randy Orton type guys, but they don't really like utilize people like Lucha House Party either.
That's Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon loves the big guys. He always has. I mean, how long did it take for Rey Mysterio to actually get catapulted? I mean, it and there's only been a handful of other quote unquote smaller guys, that have really had that since him. So
he does a big man and a sexy blonde bombshell. That's his fave.
I think that's part of the reason why I love Ricochet, because I feel like Ricochet does a lot of that work, and he's actually someone that they utilize. So,
well, they did. I mean, now they're putting him with Cedric Alexander, another guy that they're not doing anything with when they should be. But that's a Raw story. Where Alexa and Nikki are backstage celebrating their win. They get approached by Carmella and Dana Brooke, who last we knew, with all these tapings, Dana Brooke couldn't be there. So who knows when this happened. And now they're showing that, like, we weren't in WrestleMania, but we're here now, so let's get a title match. And they're bouncing around like they're 6 years old, waiting for mom to tell them, yeah, we'll go to the bowling alley. I mean, just like, what? Like, they get way too overly excited. They're like, all right, we'll give you a match. And it's like, why the super enthusiasm here? It was weird. It was just weird.
I think they should win.
No. Well, no. See, I love both Carmella and Dana too, but that would just be so random, off the wall. Like, let's just make them win the tag titles for nothing. Like, but it could be funny. But then Dana was also promoted for that Money in the Bank qualifier. So one is this apparently match that they promised gonna actually happen.
I was like, I thought the match was next week. Now she's in another match. Like, okay.
Dana's doing double duty next week. Apparently, who knows? You got taken out of the WrestleMania match, so we're gonna make you wrestle 2 matches on one episode. Double the Dana.
Sorry.
This then brings Bayley and Sasha out, bragging how Bayley retained her title. Nobody can touch us. They tried to get in our way. We proved that we're still best friends. Out comes Tamina. She's like, it took all 4 of you to pin me together. I want a title match. Bayley says, yeah, you'll have a shot at me if you beat Sasha. And Sasha's like, wait, what? And that's pretty much how the segment ended. And it's just like, all right, we're still planting those seeds for the Bayley versus Sasha. We just got to deal with a Tamina match or 2 in between. But
well, don't we all think Tamina's gonna win?
Yes.
That one I want off the wall.
Well, here's the thing: if Tamina beats Sasha, then Sasha's going to have resentment towards Bayley for putting her in that position in the first place, and that could then eventually lead to an immediate situation between Bayley and Sasha.
And Bayley's going to have resentment that Sasha let her down in the match, because the match is going to end with Bayley supposedly trying to help Sasha.
Yeah,
it backfires.
Yes.
And then Tamina will beat Sasha, then have a shot against Bayley, whether that's on SmackDown or at Money in the Bank or wherever.
And Tamina will become Jinder Mahal of 2020.
I'd be down for that.
I
want anybody. I want Vince McMahon to be champion over Bayley at this point. Like, seriously.
Yay.
I think Bayley's been amazing, though. I think
Bayley's been incredible.
she's been good, but I'm over it. Like Gabby said last week, like it's come a time where it's like it's kind of run its course for me already. So I love her as a heel. I think she's great, but I think this is the time. I know they're trying to do it to SummerSlam to have that whole like, oh, it's come full circle, Brooklyn, even though it's not in Brooklyn. But I feel like they're building towards SummerSlam, so I don't want it to drag that long. But I hope Sasha doesn't win Money in the Bank and cash it in immediately because that'll be so dumb because that'll be the third time they did it.
Yeah, agree.
I do think it would not be surprising at all if Sasha does win Money in the Bank. But yeah, I don't want her catching on that same night. I want she can play the mind games with that a little bit over time.
Yeah.
Bayley's trying to convince her to cash it in on the Raw Women's Championship or something like that, and eventually, whatever. But yeah, don't do it the same night, please.
I think they could pull up of like Bayley being like, listen, like if for some reason I would lose, you could win it for me back. And then, or you could just cash in on me and just let me beat you, and then I'm champion. Like, and then we're still like everything's cool, and we're just like the best.
Sasha's like, thank you, next.
Yeah. I like how manipulative Bayley has been, and I think it's just it's been very refreshing to see someone just be more in a team, but way more for themselves as well. Like.
We will see.
Sheamus against a guy who's down in the Performance Center named Cal Bloom. Sheamus wins in a minute. But the story with this is after the match because Mike Cole and Corey Graves are starting to talk about Jeff Hardy, how he just recently came back. They're beginning like this 3-part series or whatever on the story of Jeff Hardy's career. And Sheamus hears them talking about Hardy as he's still out there and gives him a little stare. To me, this is reading, we're going to get a Sheamus-Jeff Hardy feud, and I'm totally fine with that. Gabby, what do you think?
I think we'll just have to see where it goes. I don't know what to expect, but I'm looking forward to seeing, what they bring out, in regards to Jeff Hardy and like the storyline and how they're going to construct that.
Tom?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because I think Sheamus can build off of like I've been here working for however many years, and if they want to bring in the real elements of things and being like you've been given chance after chance after chance, and I've been here busting my ass and winning all these titles and
never been suspended.
Yeah,
like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Brian, anything?
I love Sheamus, honestly. I think some of his best work was with Cesaro, even though he's had such an illustrious career. I love them together. So, I mean, I kind of like what he's doing now, but I did like him with Cesaro, so I think he's really good at a tag team. And I also hate squash matches, like, with a burning passion. So that's probably why I'm, like, not feeling this right now. So we'll see what happens, like Gabby said and Tom said too. But I guess this is just a segue. But I feel like if we do have a Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy, it's going to bury one of them, and they're building up both Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. So if Jeff Hardy comes out on top, then it's going to kind of put Sheamus back down. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I have a feeling they're not going to bury Sheamus. They're not going to bury Jeff Hardy. They're going to bury Sheamus because Jeff Hardy's Jeff Hardy. Like, sorry, but he's been in the game longer. Like, he's more well-known. And I think that they're not going to, like, tear him down as they bring him back.
I also think based in the long scheme of things, it would do less damage to Sheamus if he were to lose that feud than the Jeff Hardy. Because, all right, say Jeff does that and they elevate him higher on the card. Well, Sheamus has said countless times, and I remember I've mentioned on this show too, Sheamus needs to win the Intercontinental Championship. So then he is the ultimate grand champion, and he's won literally every single accolade that there is in WWE. That's the only thing he's missing is the IC Championship. So if he does this feud with Jeff Hardy, whenever Sami Zayn's reign ends, whatever babyface takes the title from him, that's who Sheamus is going to go after.
Sure.
And Jeff can just continue from there. So that's what I want. We all know I rarely get what I want, but but a boy can dream. And Brian, you mentioned that you're not a fan of squash matches, so you must have loved the main event. Because Braun Strowman beat Nakamura in like 3 minutes. It's like, here's former Royal Rumble winner, former Intercontinental Champion, facing a guy that he does have a victory over, and he loses like that. Why?
Have we seen someone have such a fall from grace like Nakamura?
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, he was in basically
Jinder.
main events. No, but Jinder's different though, because he was like down there for like not doing nothing forever. Nakamura
Asuka too.
was like NXT champion, one of the longest reigning champions, had the amazing match with Sami Zayn at TakeOver, then comes up to the main roster, has a good feud with AJ, wins the Rumble and everything, and then now like he wasn't even on the Mania card this year, and like he's losing to another champion right after Mania, and barely not doing anything in this match.
For sure. We all know that Braun had to win. He's a brand new Universal Champion. There was no way in hell he was going to lose. So the fact, once they promoted this in the beginning, I was already upset because I knew that they were going to, again, bury Shinsuke Nakamura. So.
Yeah, I like that Shinsuke had time in the top of the show to, have the promo. But then once it gets to the match, it's like, yeah, that they're setting up Braun Strowman for something greater. And as we saw, next up in line is the promo with Bray Wyatt. So it's like, yeah, it was like a filler in order for Braun to have the interaction with Bray.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that leads, as you say, Gabby, into the Firefly Funhouse, where when I was watching WrestleMania, the second Braun beat Goldberg, I was just like, okay, you could do the story with him and Bray and go and bring it back because Bray's the one who started Braun, and that's exactly what happened. And Bray's looking for an apology for him leaving, and he's like, I'll forgive you if you tell me you're sorry because you have something I want back. And Braun tells him, anytime you're ready, I'm ready to let you in. And then mocks Bray by doing his happy-go-lucky goodbye, farewell, as SmackDown goes off the air. So we're going to get Bray and Braun, which I am very intrigued by.
Me too. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
Tom?
I agree. I like Braun being like, okay, yeah, I'll let you in. Like, just, and it's hard because there's so much psychology when it comes to Bray. You're like, well, no one's ever said that to him either. Of like, okay, sure, yeah, I'll let you in.
Yeah,
and I liked him mocking him, just being like, bye, see you later. Like, I don't know why I laugh every time Bray does it because it's just so. It's so weird and just so funny when he does it in the Firefly Funhouse. But I'm interested to see how they do this. And do we think it seems like it may be Bray and not The Fiend against him. But I guess we'll see how it goes.
I mean, it might go more than one pay-per-view. Maybe one is Bray and one's The Fiend. I mean, we don't know.
I was waiting for The Fiend to show up at the end. Like how they did with Cena at the end of like in both places at once.
Yeah.
Well,
we have time.
If they make the pay-per-view a cinematic experience again, then they have more creative room to make it maybe both Bray and The Fiend. And maybe like that could be a new spin. But I am looking forward to seeing Braun fight Bray, but then possibly incorporate a storyline where because he's letting him in, he becomes a little crazy because of it. Like, we see Braun go nuts. I would love to see that in storyline.
Gabby, you said something that made my brain start working, which is always dangerous.
It's about time. It's like an hour.
Yeah. First time for everything. But you mentioned, as far as them trying to do the cinematic stuff again, where on one hand, you don't want to oversaturate it. You don't want to overdo it. But if Bray opened his mouth a few months ago and said, like, I can beat all three of you in reference to Sami Zayn, Nakamura, and Cesaro, why can't he say, I don't care if it's Bray Wyatt or The Fiend. I can beat both of them.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we get a cinematic match that ends up being a handicap match of some kind that has Braun facing Bray and The Fiend at the same time.
Yes!
I like that.
Which
what they could do, though,
would just be so weird if they could pull that off.
You know what they could do, though? Because they're taping everything and nothing is inside, they could do an in-ring match, him against both of them, too.
That's what I'm saying. It would be in the ring.
Oh, I think you meant like out of the ring. Okay. Yeah.
No. I would also love for it to maybe be. Oh, I didn't hear what you said, but I would love for it to maybe be a holographic experience. Maybe they create Bray and the Fiend as holograms.
Now we're going
Did
places.
it Coachella years ago? But like to us, it looks real.
Now maybe
And
they
Braun-
do that at some point to trick Braun, like he charges one of them and he just goes right through it.
Yeah. Cool. I like that.
But then the real one shows up from behind him and just clocks him. Now that they did the Funhouse and the Boneyard, we have so many more possibilities of what can be done.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh boy.
I
want
to
say one thing real quick. I read something that someone posted online, which was like how the Fiend and Bray are changing everyone, and it's like, you know,
yes.
Balor went back to the Prince kind of thing. Rollins went back to being like self-centered, manipulative, and then it was like, well, Daniel Bryan, he went back to being part of the Yes movement, like being the super baby face, not turn heel like everyone. And then it was like Goldberg. The reason why he couldn't beat Goldberg was that because Goldberg has never changed his personality from whenever he started in wrestling. And
I saw the same thing.
Bray had no way to get in and get inside his head and manipulate him. And I was like, I mean, whoever wrote it was someone on Twitter, but I was like, that it really does make a lot of sense.
It made a lot of sense.
And then Cena was like the whole it was like him facing all his fears. He made Cena face Cena's fears, and it was like
he made Miz go back to being egotistical.
Yes,
I mean, he did it with everyone except Goldberg. Yes, absolutely.
It was just interesting.
All right, we're starting to get close on time, supposedly, even though we're controlling this ourselves right now. But we know we got wrestling rap stuff that we got to do. So, Gabby, we got a few big stories I know we need to cover here.
Yes, so let's get through them. All right, wrestling rap for this week. My attempt at sound effects. So WWE, thank you, I appreciate it. WWE had an employee that tested positive for coronavirus, and the live shows have still been are now resuming, which is very odd. We'll get to that next. But first off, they announced this a few days ago, and this WWE employee that apparently tested positive, according to Pro Wrestling Sheet, is an on-screen talent, but not a member of the WWE roster. And I'm assuming that's like superstars, right? Like wrestlers. Mm-hmm. And so this is a direct quote from them. "We believe this matter is a low risk to WWE talent and staff, as the individual and a roommate became symptomatic in the days following exposure to two people working in acute healthcare on the evening of March 26th. After WWE's TV production on a closed set was already complete." That's what they said in the statement. But to me, it's a little risque because now they're making the assumption that this on-screen talent was infected by the two people that they had dinner with right after a taping, the WrestleMania and the weekly tapings, which that you can't really make that assumption if people are getting infected 14 days in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have a person that was working at WWE. I have tried to do my own research and go on Instagram and scout out all the on-air talent, as many as I could go through to see who posted last, when are they posting, do they seem sick? Nobody's made an announcement, and I'm sure the company pretty much told them, like, you better not expose who you are, because then people are likely to make assumptions and point fingers at WWE because they're still taping. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, I think we're all in agreement on the fact that they shouldn't be taping at all.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like doing the show. I'd rather everyone be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not like we're at our houses. We've all been stuck home. Like, what are they thinking?
Mm-hmm. Could also be a referee. We don't know.
And there, it could be a referee, could be a ring announcer, could be a commentator, could be an interviewer, could be a manager. It's like, someone who just is not in physical combat, really.
Yeah.
And it also just makes it seem like when they're saying this, like, oh, well, it's low risk, it happened on here, and they're doing fine, so it's not a big deal. It's just like, well, would you act differently if it was a wrestler? Because if so, then you're undermining this other talent that you have where everyone should be treated the same, especially with this type of situation, being that so many millions of people around the world's health are at risk with everything that's going on. You should be very careful and care about every single one of your employees, regardless of whatever role they have.
Yep.
Definitely. And you guys, this is so weird, but their WWE is, resuming live weekly programming. They put out a statement that they believe it is now more important than ever to provide people with a diversion from these hard times. We are producing content on a closed set with only essential personnel in attendance, following appropriate guidelines while taking additional precautions to ensure the health and wellness of our performers and staff. As a brand that has been woven into the fabric of society, WWE and its superstars bring families together and deliver a sense of hope, determination, and perseverance. Now, announcing that you had an employee have coronavirus, but you're continuing to resume taping live weekly, not pre-tapes, and on a closed set regardless, even though the governor has an order that extends through April 30th with essential businesses only. Like, what is your take on this?
I was already shook. I saw that they said if the police, I don't know if this is a rumor or not, but someone said like if the police stop them, they're using like clearance as like essential media personnel, which that's already wild enough. So I don't know where that came from. And yeah, it's just crazy that they're continuing to tape when, like at Mania, when they promoted SmackDown, they put live for this week. I was shook. I was already like, I cannot believe they're going live. So now that they already officially announced it, that they're proceeding with live tapings, I don't know what's going to happen. They're not.
And like, do they use talent that's just local, or are they going to be flying people in? Because we know like Miz lives in Los Angeles, and there's like Renee Young's in Las Vegas. Like, where are they going to get their talent from? Are they going to be flying them in every week again, like on a schedule?
Yeah. You want to go first, Josh? You want me to go?
No, you go ahead, because I talked a lot already.
Okay. I just think this is utter and total BS. Like, we are all fans of wrestling, but we are watching the news and seeing what is happening in the freaking world right now and in this country right now. And the fact that they think it's okay to do this is bull. And it annoys me being a wrestling fan to know that this is happening, because we all care about the wrestlers. And what happens if someone gets it and they die? Because guess what? A lot of people are dying from this. Then how do you explain that? How do you explain it to their family? How do you explain it to the fans? How do you not have a lawsuit on your hands of going? And trust me, we all see wrestling is a world of a lot of lawsuits about a lot of wrongful deaths of shit that have happened. Sorry, my language, but it's like
a rage.
That's seen stuff that has happened.
Insert rage music here.
I'm like, but it's just, it infuriates me. I'd rather all of us just get together and just be talking about random stuff, not this where you're like, what the hell are you thinking? What are you thinking? Like, did see an article yesterday where someone said that the reason why they may be doing this is because of their contracts with NBC and Fox, of where they're
going to lose them. Yeah,
they can only have a certain amount of pre-tape shows a year. Well, guess what, Vince and everyone else? I'm sure Fox and NBC are not going to give a crap if you are not putting on a live show. And guess what? If it's only employees, you should have done this 2 weeks ago. First off, you should have did it right after Mania. You should have just kept taping if you're going to do it. But if you're doing this, what are they going to say? You're the only thing in town going. I think to me it's WWE wanting to be present in the world still when they don't need to be.
Also, when you have all these other wrestling shows,
yes,
they want to be the top.
Yes, and it's like, but you're not setting an example. And also, look at the people. I'm sorry, there's a lot of people that watch wrestling that are, I don't want to. We know people that watch wrestling. They're going, well, guess what? If so-and-so can go outside and they're taping in Florida, why can't I go outside and live my life? These people are living their lives, when it's like we're trying to save people's lives here and keep people in their homes. They're traveling on airplanes. Like the Miz and someone coming from LA to Florida. Like, what the hell? So stupid. Like, and it annoys me that I respect Roman Reigns so much right now. And I really hope he does not come back for any of these tapings. I really hope we do not see him until this thing is cleared up and is out. Because when he comes back, I want him to win that belt, and I don't care if he keeps it for a year. I do not care. That guy deserves the belt because that's what's happening. He's the only person that's saying no, well, at least that we know of, that says, no, I'm not doing this. Like, what? Daniel Bryan, come on, dude. Like, what's your problem? Why are you going along with this? Why is anybody going along with this?
And it's scary because also, like, if you think about it, Daniel Bryan's wife is pregnant. If she got coronavirus, the baby's going to get coronavirus.
Like, oh, it just infuriates me. It just really, it makes me, like, be mad to be a wrestling fan about this stuff. Like, like I want everyone to have a break from what's happening in the world, but you have a network with how many hours of content that you could throw up on Monday and Friday, and you could do hey, what pay-per-view do you want to see? We're going to pick 3 and you pick the top 1. You know what I mean? Like, you could do stuff. You could do other ways to get around this. And, like, I'm sorry, but if Fox and NBC are going to get that technical about stuff, that's, like, ridiculous. Like, there's a way around it. So.
And here's the thing. Fox and NBC, between contracts with the NHL, the NFL, Major League Baseball, NASCAR, they're paying them more money than they're paying the WWE, and none of them are doing anything right now, period.
Yes.
So I think I'm not in those boardroom meetings, so I don't know for sure. They're probably done on Zoom at this point. But I'm sure they'll be like, okay, this is an unusual circumstance. We'll allow you to have a couple weeks where you're showing John Cena's greatest matches, where you're replaying.
Not those, but okay.
But you get what I'm saying. Daniel Bryan's greatest match. Alexa Bliss night. We're going to do an Alexa Bliss night just for Bryant.
Nikki Bella's greatest matches.
All right, well, let's
move on, because we can go on this for another hour.
I'm out of here.
So guys, fans, let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the situation and how you feel. All right, moving on. Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder of the Revival have been released by WWE immediately. So, yeah, we'll see where they wind up next. I know we've, amongst ourselves, have talked about where we think they're going to wind up being. Feel free to leave in the comments below where you guys think the Revival will head to next. If it's AEW, if it's going to be New Japan, if it's going to be Impact Wrestling, where will they wind up?
Don't sleep on NWA. I'm just saying that right now. They love the old. Yeah. They love the old school vibe, and there's already a built-in storyline if they were to bring Jim Cornette back in there to manage them.
Definitely.
AEW is most likely. Don't sleep on NWA power. Just throwing that out there.
Okay, and now also, you guys, if Ronda Rousey didn't feel the heat at the beginning of this pandemic, she's definitely feeling it now. Prior to it getting totally out of control, she did make a comment on social media about learning from the coronavirus outbreak and being more self-sufficient. And a lot of fans were outraged by it, thinking she was bragging. Well, guess what? She's pissed off people again because she called wrestling fake fights for fun. And because she did that, a lot of people in the WWE universe went after her, to say the least. So she actually posted this on her Twitter. She put #kayfabe_killer. Anyone who is outraged by me calling pro wrestling fake fights for fun has never been in a real fight. While you all are tiptoeing around, bruising some pro wrestlers' huge soft egos, no one is thinking about all the real fighters you're insulting when pretending pro wrestling is somehow on the same level of realism. Yes, I understand wrestling 300 days a year for years on end is incredibly tough on the body and a difficult profession, but do you know what would happen if you got in 300 real fights in a year? You would be dead, period. Ooh, Rousey, she's going nuts. And so, like I said, a lot of WWE superstars weren't so happy with her comments. So she did have backlash. Some of the backlash came from people like Nia Jax. And Nia Jax said, I can't wait for Ronda to one day return to WWE. she said, even if WWE or make Ronda look good in the ring, which is the only way for Ronda to look good in the ring with me, I'll risk my job to go down in history as the one from this biz that knocked her the F out. Hashtag test me, bitch. And the only other person that I saw so far, based on the news, support Ronda Rousey was her pal, Shayna Baszler. And she pretty much put in caps, how dare Ronda care more about her family than pleasing fans that are never happy? You guys,
I have to chime in. I'm about to go off. I'm about to do my own rage. Because...
insert rage music for Brian.
So, when Ronda Rousey was on Total Divas this year, I was starting to like her. I did not like her in her run on WWE. I thought she was probably the worst thing that ever happened to the women's division. But when she went on Total Divas, I started to like her, to see more of her and all that kind of stuff. So when she was having this feud with Sonya Deville, she mentioned that she doesn't say anything like seriously on social media. Like she does it for, to further storylines or whatever the case may be. But she's no longer, technically an active superstar. So what she's saying is probably her true feelings, So I think that is just so toxic, so bad. Whatever you did, the WWE, approached you and brought you in and gave you this amazing storyline, amazing year of your career in WWE, and for you to just spit on all of that is so bad. I even can't stand her even more because I don't know if you guys saw on Paige's Twitch, little Twitch conference call with some of the women's wrestlers. Nia was talking about somebody who Alexa was wrestling who consistently injured Alexa, and this is just me being biased, but I'm thinking it's Ronda. So Ronda is just toxic, and if she ever comes back to the WWE, I'm gonna go there to Florida and fight her myself.
Brian.
Wow.
Brian.
Down, Ronda.
Brian, I'm saying this to you as my friend, as your friend. This is all at work, right? It's 100% a work.
Worked up.
She's eventually coming back because she has unfinished business with Becky. She'll be there to support Shayna, and we will have at Survivor Series horsewomen versus horsewomen. She's not going to. She might not do a full-time deal. She might not be back much longer, but she will be back. This is just getting her back in the minds of wrestling fans, and it's working.
It's working.
Does anybody want her back? Because
no,
I don't want her back.
I know, but I just think it's like, I don't know. It's just not. It doesn't do anything for me. It just annoys me, and I get they want us to be annoyed, but I don't. I think it's real. It's just so hard because you're like everyone else there worked so hard, and then you're just like crapping on it, and but then it's like, does she come back and beat everyone? Then what's the point of that? Like
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I definitely could think that it could be a work, but at the same time, you don't know because there is drama that does really happen behind the scenes too. There are real parts of wrestling as well. So, the last part of my wrestling wrap is just that Kevin Owens has said that dream match would be next to fight somebody like a Shawn Michaels. So, yeah, Kevin, hope your dreams come true at some point. It's interesting because Shawn Michaels would be somebody he'd love to fight again, but also he mentioned like people that were his mentors in life, and Rhino is one of them. And I work with Rhino on Impact Wrestling, and I absolutely love Rhino. So whenever somebody brings up that they know Kevin Owens or a story about Kevin Owens, I'm just like, tell me more. Just kidding. That really does.
Well, I'm sure virtually because obviously there's social distancing right now, but I'm sure you were mending to Kevin and making sure he was getting back to health after he jumped off the WrestleMania side.
Actually, you know what? WWE released because this is going around as a trend right now because everyone's at their stay-at-home orders. What house would you stay in for WWE? Like, who would you want to be quarantined with?
Oh, okay.
And they didn't put Kevin Owens in a house when WWE released their house. So I said, what happened to Kevin Owens? And I added Kevin Owens. A few people liked that.
I saw that too, and I was like, where is the Bella twin? Where is Nikki Bella on this house? I'm not staying in any of these.
They left all the best people off.
Seriously. I had to shout you out. I was like, your boyfriend versus my boyfriend on WrestleMania because I was like living for Seth.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this puppy up. I need to see the house list because I need to decide which house I'm going to stay in for that. But, guys, let us know your opinions on all this crazy news that obviously Gabby brought to Wrestling Wrap. and what you think of these new stories that are developing from this SmackDown After Mania. We need to hear from you so we can keep this as entertaining as possible. So please leave comments on the YouTube page, on iTunes, and talk to us on social media. Gabby, start with you. How can people reach out to you?
Yeah, you guys can reach out to me at Gabby Loren TV on both Instagram and Twitter. Also follow my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Gabrielle Loren. And I am going to be uploading tonight a recap. Well, not a recap, but like my opinions on WrestleMania, my favorite matches. So if you want to listen to that, it will be up this evening, shortly, probably after the podcast release itself for AfterBuzz TV. And I also have a new self-development podcast called Breaking Bread with Ali and Gabby on YouTube. So check that out.
Tom.
You guys can find me Twitter, Instagram, Tom.com. Also check out, you guys know I do 3D printing, and I'm working with a company called 3dagentsofshield.com, and I'm actually printing masks for healthcare workers.
Yes.
One, you can go to the website and donate to them, or if you want to reach out to me directly and be like, hey, how can I get you like filament and stuff? Like, I'm just using as much stuff as I have, and my printers have been printing nonstop. I dropped off 50 masks the other day, and I'm just almost at another 50 since printing this weekend. So it's nice to be doing something to help.
Absolutely, and we commend you for that, for sure. Bryant.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Bryant Santos. Also on Women's Wrestling Weekly and AfterBuzz TV's Quarantine with the Stars.
All right. And guys, since we were last on, I decided to start a new little YouTube show called Josh Talks. Some of you might have seen it. Some of you might have heard of it. All you need to subscribe to it. The first 2 episodes are already up with me with one-on-one interviews. First one was with TJP. Second one with the man formerly known as Damian Sandow, Aaron Stevens. This Tuesday, the next one drops with the greatest personal ring announcer in WWE history, Ricardo Rodriguez. You don't want to miss it. Please subscribe. Kirby is raising his hand right now. Apparently, he's subscribing too. And again, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh_Tariff. And for all your other AfterBuzz TV news, follow him on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV. Thanks for tuning in. For Gabby Loren and Kirby, Tom Connolly, Bryant Santos, I'm Josh Tariff, and we will see you later.